Hello, my name's Richard. I'm the install manager from a company in Macclesfield called Solarcrest. We specialise in renewables, and today I'd like to introduce one of our best-selling machines, which is called an Airflow DV145 Adroit. It's an MVHR, mechanical ventilation heat recovery system. Now, it's one of the best on the market, and like I said, one of our best sellers. And today I'd just like us to look at one of our installs which we did in Leicestershire. Now, this was a job which I did myself, me and one other lad, and it took us about 3 days to carry out the entire install. This area here is the plant area, which is where most of the work happens and the most important elements which we are going to just briefly have a look at. So I'd like to start just by looking at what we call the atmosphere ducting here. Now, these ducts are about 1.2 metres apart. Best practice is to keep these about 1.2 metres apart so we don't get any cross-contamination of airflow. And it's also very important that they fall down to the machine, so no water collects in reservoirs, so that means no U-bends. We can go up and over, but we can't create U-bends like going down and then back up. But the best practice is to create a small fall to the unit, so any moisture which collects inside the ducts will just drop into the unit, into a reservoir, and then out through the condensate drain and out through to foul. So that's the way that we manage the moisture. It's important as well that these ducts are of an insulative material and they're made from polyurethane. And we use these because it's very easy to work with. You can cut it quite easily. The clamps are very good. Similar material to what pipe lagging is made from, what plumbers use to insulate copper pipes. Yeah, so this ducting here is 180 millimeters diameter internal, so we've got plenty of airflow through these into the machine. You can also see that we use the same duct when connecting to our distribution manifolds here. So we've got the ducting which comes up and over. This is the supply and the extract legs which come into the supply and extract distribution manifolds. These manifolds again are made by Airflow. They're called Airflex Pro, and the ducting is also called Airflex Pro. These are sound insulated manifolds and also for thermal, really good bits of kit. They split the airflow into 15 sections, so we've got one big duct coming in and then 15 small ports coming out. They also come, these manifolds, 10 port and 6 port if it's a smaller job. But here on this you can see they are 15 port manifolds. You get the option to blank off or use these spigots on the side, so you get many orientations. You can do a combination of spigots coming out of the side or coming out of the end, but on this job they all come out of the end. You can see they're in a nice neat orderly line. This ducting here, this red, what we call radial Airflex semi-rigid ducting, goes off to all the different rooms in the house. Generally there is a valve or a duct to every single room. So we've got on this one, this front manifold here is the extract manifold, and the one at the back is the supply manifold. As you can see again, I just referred to this earlier as the condensate drain. This is connected underneath there. There's a little trap and then there's a slight fall, and this pipe runs to the soil pipe somewhere, which isn't yet installed on this job but will be. The power rating of this machine is 13 amps, so we just want a radial coming from the consumer unit straight up, own independent supply. We can just put a 2.5mm cable in there, a 16 amp breaker on it, and just connect to a switch fuse spur or simply plug the machine in. We recommend a fuse spur, then it won't get tampered with or could come unplugged. Also, we need to get a data cable up to this machine, or if anybody wants manual boost switches, they can run just a 2-core cable up to some volt-free switching, which is going to be connected inside this box. But anybody who's responsible for the internet connection, if you just run an internet cable, Cat5 or Cat6, make sure it's terminated, and it plugs into a female RJ45 socket on top of the unit. So yeah, this install is it's not actually commissioned yet, but I'll be going back there no doubt in a few months. So let's just have a further look at this machine and what it's about. Let's just explore what's inside it. Okay, so here is a blown up version of what's inside the DV145 Adroit. See, the main piece of kit, which you can see straight away, is the plate heat exchanger inside here, and it's a very basic but clever piece of kit, where we've got the outgoing air, which is moist and warm, warms up the incoming air, which is cool. So there's a 95% heat exchange there. So the incoming fresh air is warmed up by the outgoing stale air, and this is going on 24/7 all the time. We've got filters. We've got a filter there which is filtering the air coming out of the property and protecting the fans, and also protecting the heat exchanger. We've got a pre-filter up top there, number 6. Then we've got the fine F7 filter. Now this airflow has got really good filters. It's got a F7 pollen filter and filters the PM 2.5 really effectively. Yeah, so this is what if you're looking for quality and air freshness, then the DV145 is one of the units to strongly consider. We've got 2 fans in here as well. There's a supply fan and an extract fan. The machine manages the humidity automatically, which is really good, and gives peace of mind. We've got up there's a little what I call a pressure switch. Sometimes this can cause problems when the door has got a little peg on it which must align with that pressure sensor, and if it doesn't, the unit won't start. Remember, a few times I was scratching my head, what on earth's up with this unit, until I figured that in transit it had got bent, and then I managed to clock what was going on. It was slightly just misaligned, and I straightened it, and yeah, it started working again. So that's something to check. Yeah, there's optional post heaters and preheaters in these machines. Sometimes we're recommended, not so much if we're really down on the south coast or in London where there's not much frost these days. So if you're in a colder climate, then we may recommend the post or the preheater. Yeah, it's a really clever bit of kit. Underneath there that I haven't numbered is that there's a condensate trap which I referred to earlier. This unit comes with like a little vessel which you connect on the underside, and then comes with a little connection which enables you to get to 21.5 standard overflow pipe, which we run to the nearest drain. And yeah, so now let's just have a quick look. Well, we can't see the unit on top there, but if you imagine looking at the unit from above, over here we've got the terminals which are listed, and this unit, like I've identified here, is a right hand unit. So number 1 is the supply air to the apartment, or the supply air to the house. Now this is going to the bedrooms and to the living rooms, delivering fresh quality air to the occupants, and even while we're sleeping at night, we can guarantee that we're getting that quality air in the bedrooms. I think it's important that we supply air to the bedrooms, especially for those who have got allergies. We can give them a good quality of air during their sleeping hours. And we've got number 2, which is exhaust air from the apartment. This is the stale air from the bathrooms, cooking, smells that are created, rooms where there's a lot of activity. It can be cleaning, drying, showering, bathing, yeah, and even exercising in home gyms. All that moisture and all that heat is taken out to be recovered by this incoming air here. Okay, so we've got now number 3, the exhaust air out. Now this is the air which goes out through the exhaust vent, which is either going to be on the roof or on a wall. This is constantly taking stale air out. Okay, so we've got number 4 now, which is the intake. Now this intake is constantly pulling in fresh air from outside, and if it has got little bits of pollen in it. It gets filtered out by this 3 and obviously number 6 as well, the pre-filter for bigger particles. So we can guarantee that the air coming in is always fresh. Within the property is always fresh, oxygenated air, rather than breathing in stagnant air with this. It's got all kind of nasties in it. MVHR is really, really good for well-being and enhances the quality of life for all occupants. You only really realise it when you've had one of these systems in your house. And every time I go into a house which has got MVHR, I know straight away, you know, that the air quality is good. You can sense that after a while. And then when you go in houses that don't have it, you know, and you just feel this sense of heaviness and a sense of that, you know, sometimes you can feel a little bit dizzy with it. Well, it's one of these things, once you realise air quality from MVHR, you know, you want to go back. So, the Airflow DV145 Adroit. This is, like I said, is one of our best-selling machines, and I hope you really give it some strong consideration if you're thinking about MVHR in your property. So, thanks for listening and watching. Hope to be back with more videos soon. Thank you.